Furiosa is the fifth Mad Max film, but this time we aren't following Mad Max, but instead, you guessed it, Furiosa, as this is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, which follows her journey from the green place of many mothers to how she became promoted to the war rig commander for Immortan Joe, the big bad warlord. Mad Max might not be riding shotgun for this road trip, but we do have George Miller behind the wheel, just like with every other movie in the franchise. So that should be reason enough to tag along. If you are a fan of Mad Max, or if you're just a fan of Fury Road, this is, in my opinion, a must-watch adventure. I'm actually in the minority here, thinking Furiosa might be the best one yet. For most people, Fury Road reigns champion. It's often regarded as a perfect action film, and its practical visual effects are legendary. Furiosa isn't quite as technically impressive. It relies more on CGI. It's less adrenalized, because it isn't a prolonged chase sequence, and it might feel unnecessary, and people might prefer a totally new story. But in my opinion, Furiosa is a perfect companion piece to Fury Road. It expands on the characters, and on the lore. And I don't think it's a lesser movie, it's just a different movie. But if you enjoyed Fury Road for its rich and creative world building, Furiosa has that in spades. This time around, the story doesn't take place over the course of a couple days. Furiosa is an epic, spanning her entire life leading up to Fury Road, and it focuses on the politics and the war that's going on in the wasteland. As far as characters go, everyone here is really good. We have our fan favorites coming back. I think Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic as Furiosa, despite the fact that she has very few lines, which is a weird complaint that people have about this movie, considering the fact that her character is pretending to be a mute man, who has no one to confide in, on a mission to escape back home. It's the literal plot, but as the movie progresses, she makes a friend, a potentially romantic friend, who goes by Praetorian Jack. You like him, because he likes Furiosa, and he's handsome, which is really noticeable in contrast to, well, actually, I don't want to be mean. And speaking of handsome, we also have Chris Hemsworth as Dementus, the leader of a cannibalistic biker horde that kidnaps Furiosa as a child. He's the main antagonist here, and his performance is a ton of fun. He's wacky, but he's also really sinister. Alone, he's not all that intimidating, but he has a loyal group of followers, despite the brutal initiation to join the group, and that he uses them as cannon fodder. So we have a strong protagonist, a strong antagonist, and a bunch of solid side characters. And you can't even complain that Mad Max isn't in the movie because he totally is. See? One of my favorite things about this movie is that it's broken into 5 chapters, all at different key moments throughout Furiosa's life. It might not be the same unbroken chaotic experience as Fury Road, but most chapters have a prolonged action sequence. So you are going to get plenty of excitement, but it's always sandwiched between these character moments and time jumps and montages. There's just a lot more going on, but each chapter has its own unique set piece, and these individual action scenes are all memorable and exciting. Honestly, I feel like with each chapter, the action just keeps getting better and better. And just when you think that the action can't get more fun or more explosive or more cool, it just does. It keeps getting better. By the time Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 roll around, it's completely off-the-wall crazy, and it's just so much fun. Honestly, when it comes to this movie, I'm not sure what there is not to like. This is simply an ambitious and entertaining adventure. And in my opinion, George Miller hasn't missed the mark yet. So when I hear that it's not as good as Fury Road, and that people just kind of overlooked it, I'm gonna be honest, it upsets me a bit. because Furiosa was one of my favorite movie experiences in 2024. It might not be as good as Fury Road, fair enough, but that's such a ridiculously high bar to pass. So do yourself a favor. Next time you feel like watching Fury Road, watch this first. I promise they complement each other. I very enthusiastically recommend this. I give Furiosa 2 thumbs up. Well, actually, 1 thumb up.